Hey there, everybody. Listen, I don't know what happened. If you can hear me, just say something in the comments. It kicked me totally out and wouldn't let me back in, but then it still said that I was still streaming live. So come on in. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. I don't know what in the world just happened. But we are here. Hey, everybody, we are here. It's a new day, it's a new month, it's a new season. So, listen, we're not letting anything frustrate us today. Listen, can I get any help here? We're not letting anything frustrate us today or this season or anything. So, come on, like and share this. I'm going to share it on my page. We are here. I'm going to share it. And so listen, we the topic today was simply new and now, and how ironic that we would have so much technology trouble of even logging on or getting in here in order to have our conversation. So for those of you who don't know, welcome to Lunchtime Empowerment Talks with Dr. Vaughn. I am Dr. Shavonna Whitehead, and it's always my privilege, my honor, and my pleasure to come out and chat with you every Tuesday. And so, listen, I don't know what's going on. It seems like the live is bouncing in and out. But guess what? We're still going to share. We're still going to empower. We're still going to push because, listen, because everything, no matter what we're going through, one of the things that I am going to talk to you about today is the art of perseverance. When we're talking about new and now, we're talking about new and now, we have to realize that when we're talking about new, before you can embrace the new, you have to deal with the now. And how many of you know that sometimes now is frustrating? Sometimes now is frustrating. And so when you're talking about trying to get to the new and trying to prepare for the new season and trying to prepare for the new promise and the prepare for the new job and prepare for the new house and prepare for the new, sometimes the now is the most frustrating thing because you have to deal with certain things that will prepare you for the new. Too often we try to jump into the new and we haven't even done what we were supposed to do now. Okay, I'm gonna be out here by myself. But sometimes we have made so many commitments to ourselves in the now that we have not fulfilled. We've made so many commitments to ourselves in the now that we have not even done. So before you even walk into the new, I challenge you to actually sit where you are now and actually determine, have I done what I was supposed to do now? Did I honor the commitment to myself now? We're not even talking about anybody else. It's easy to talk about other people. It's easy to bring other people into the equation. It's easy to say that our commitment to other people, but most of the time our struggle is our commitment to us. Come on here. Most of our struggle is our commitment to us. So when we're talking about we're getting into this new and now, I know this is the 8th month of the year. I know this is the month of new beginnings. I know this is the first day of the new month. I know it's the first day of a new month. It's the first day of this particular month. I understand all of that. But if you have not done what was in the now, you're not going to be able to fully enjoy the new. We are oftentimes so excited about the new that we fail to remember that we've left things undone. Oh, I can't hear nobody but God. I said, we have failed to realize that we have left some things undone. And so sometimes we have to sit. I said it on one of my reels the other day. Sometimes you have to reflect. You have to reflect. You have to reassess before you can ever resume. You have to take the time to see where you are now. When is the last time you took inventory of your now? Come on here. When is the last time that you actually did your checklist of what you've done now? When is the last time that you looked at where you are now and actually did an evaluation of whether or not you've been true to you? Oh, okay. Because many of us, if we are telling the truth, some of us have failed us. We have been good at being good to others. We have been good at fulfilling our promises to others. We have been good at doing what others wanted us to do. We have been good at making sure other people got what they want, but we leave depleted. We have not fulfilled what we actually made promises to us. But somebody needs to type in the comments, I owe me this season. Come on here. Type it right in the comments. I owe me this season. Why? Because if I'm going to embrace this season of new, I got to be all in. If I'm going to embrace this season of new, I got to evaluate where I've left some things undone, tie those things up so that when I walk in this newness, I walk in it full. Because guess what? I suffered for this place. I endured for this place. I went through for this place. I lost some things for this place. You know, I did some things to get to here. And so I owe me this season. I cannot afford to not embrace my new because of the simple fact I got some loose ends in my now that I refuse to tie up. No. I owe me this season. So I need to tie it up. What does that mean, Dr. Vaughn? Come on here. What does that mean? That means that I now have to actually implement some things for me. I got to implement some things for me. It's so easy for us to make sure that everybody else is good. I know the kids are going back to school. We about to make sure the kids are good. We make sure the home is good. We're making sure the family is good. We're making sure that the job is good. But when is the last time you made sure you were good? Oh, I know it's tight and uncomfortable, but when is the last time you made sure you were good? When is the last time you did things that made you smile? When is the last time that you did things that made you happy? When is the last time that you actually sat down and realized that I am actually working out my purpose and my destiny and I'm happy about it? I am doing what I was created to do. I am actually fulfilling my dreams, my aspirations, my visions, my goals. I'm fulfilling those things. And some of us need to take that moment before you launch into the deep and try to embrace the new. Before we jump up in there to the new, some of us need to actually figure out what has happened in the now. I know. I'm putting a damper on somebody because we've been declaring. Yes, I am declaring. I got some declarations in the air because this is the 8th month. And I believe that God is shifting. Not only, I am so grateful that my birth month is the 8th month. So I believe that every time I enter the 8th month, God is shifting me into something even greater. God is shifting, pulling me deeper into Him. God is doing something new in and through me and to everything connected to me. And so, yes, I do have some declarations, but I also realized there were some things in my now that I had to deal with so that the new would manifest fully. Tell somebody, I don't need a retarded new. Oh, well, come on here. I don't need a retarded new. I need a new that is full of everything that God promised me. So I'm going to drop some things on you because I want you to actually be able to embrace this new. So the first thing I want you to do is, in order for you to embrace the new and come out of the now, you got to prepare for it. Oh, come on here. You got to prepare for it. What do you mean, Dr. Vaughn? No more excuses. We got excuses for why we can't do this. We got excuses for why we can't do that. We got excuses for why I don't have time to do this. Nobody supports me with this. I don't know how to do this. I don't have the answers for this. I don't have the knowledge for this. I don't have the certification for this. We have so many excuses. So as we are going into this new, this is the first day, right? As we are evaluating our now and going into our new, the first thing you need to do is prepare for it. You can't just haphazardly jump into something new and you ain't prepared for it. That means I got to get rid of these excuses. I have to stop being down on me. I have to stop picking me apart. I have to stop pulling every failure I got out of me and putting it on Front Street. I have to eliminate the excuses. Yes, I may have messed up before, but this time I am preparing for my new. This time is going to be different. Somebody type in the comments, this time is going to be different. Come on. Somebody type in the comments, this time is going to be different. Why? Because I am preparing for it. I am not going to just wake up and just jump into it. Right now, I am taking time to strategically prepare myself for what I am believing God for, because I'm believing God for some dumb, crazy stuff. So which means I got to prepare myself in order to receive what I'm believing God for. That's right, Bree. This time's going to be different. Here's the next thing. I want you to get the mindset not to give up. Tell somebody, I got to accept my fears. Come on here. The next thing you got to do, you got to be determined not to give up. So tell somebody, I got to accept my fears. I got to accept my fears. I do. I have to accept my fears. Why do you say that, Dr. Bond? Because if I can accept those fears, then those fears won't plague me. If I can accept what I'm fearful of, then it won't have the power to cause me to give up. If I can accept what is trying to distract me or cause me to be scared to step into the new, if I can identify it and accept that that's a fear of mine, it now loses its power. It now loses its power. So in order for me not to give up, tell somebody, I got to accept my fears. So the first thing is you got to prepare for it. The second thing is don't give up. Accept your fear. Accept your fear. When you accept it, you take the power out of it. It can no longer allow you to quit. Quitting is not an option for me. Quitting is not an option for me. God has so much in store for me that I refuse to allow anybody or anyone or anything, including myself, to hinder what God is doing in me. God has already promised me he's taking me somewhere, and I will not even be my own hindrance. Oh, come on here. I can't hear nobody. I will not even be my own hindrance. So here's the thing. Here's the next thing. You have you have to have the mindset that one change does not define who I am. One change does not define who I am. What do you mean, Dr. Vaughn? Many of us are in a place of change, and things are changing, and we're allowing the change or the shift to dictate who we are. Instead of going and realizing that that is just a part of the journey, we have allowed that change or that shift to become the journey. Us allowing the change or the shift to realize it's a part of the journey, we have gotten stuck and we've allowed it to become the journey. So I have to understand that one change does not define who I am. Just because something didn't go the way I thought it would be does not mean that the rest of the trajectory of my life is now over. Just because something did not measure out the way I thought it would does not mean that the rest of God's promises are not for me. So I have to get to a point where I realize that one change does not define who I am. Oh, come on here. This next one I want to park on for a moment. You got to focus on your resilience. You have to focus on your resilience. What do you mean, Dr. Vaughn? Sometimes you got to remember how you came through. Oh. I said, you got to remember how you came through. Somebody need to type it. I remember how I came through. Somebody has to realize that the same resilience you had to get through the last season, it's now multiplied in this season. You're even stronger now than you were then. So if you had the resilience to get through it before, then God has already multiplied and strengthened you for this one. Each change will be uncomfortable. Each transition may not feel like you want it to feel. It may be uncomfortable. It may seem unfair. But this right here, you got to remember how you came through. Come on here. I got to remember that I didn't lose my mind on the last thing when I thought it was going to take my very mind. But I'm standing here watching this live now with my right mind, which means I was resilient enough to come through. Not only was I resilient enough to come through, my strength is stronger now because I came through. Come on here. I said my strength is stronger now because I came through. And so you have to focus on your resilience. So the first thing you need to do as you trying to prepare for this new is you got to prepare for it. That means you got to eliminate the excuses. You got to be determined to not give up, which means you got to accept your fear. You got to realize that one change does not define you. You got to realize you got to actually focus on your resilience. Here's the next thing. You got to celebrate your growth. When is the last time that you celebrated how far you've come? I know you're not at the finish line, but when is the last time you celebrated how far you've come? I know you're not where you want to be, but when is the last time that you celebrated how far you've come? No matter how big or small, we have to get in a habit of celebrating our growth, celebrating our accomplishments. So what, somebody doesn't think it's big? If it's big to you, celebrate it. So what, somebody doesn't understand your growth or your stretching? Celebrate it anyway. I don't celebrate for you to pat me on my back. I celebrate because I believe in me. I celebrate because I know what I'm achieving. You may not see the growth. You may not see what God is doing. You may not see I know without a shadow of a doubt within me that God is shifting me. I am going to yes, Lord. I'm going to celebrate every ounce of growth. I'm going to celebrate that I didn't cuss nobody out the last time they said something sideways. I'm going to celebrate that maybe I just did good for half a day. I'm going to celebrate that I decided to go walking even though I ain't been walking in 2 years. I'm going to celebrate that maybe I don't spend as much as I used to. I'm going to celebrate that I now have more self-care and self-love and self-confidence and self-worth than I've ever had in my life. I'm going to celebrate. I don't care how big or how small it is. You have to learn how to celebrate each level of growth. The problem with us, the reason why we can't see that we've actually made some advancements is we're waiting for the big thing to drop. Come on here. I said, we're waiting for the big thing to drop. But God is saying, you got to celebrate the journey. Come on. Somebody needs to say, I got to celebrate the journey. I got to celebrate the journey. So no matter how big or small, no matter what you think, come on here. Come on, 30-minute walk. Listen, Janae, come on that 30-minute walk this morning. You go, girl. Celebrate it. You did something for you this morning. Because what? These next 30 days, what? Belong to me. That's a sidebar for the ladies in my empowerment group. We're in a 30-day challenge that's faith, fitness, and finance. Faith, and these next 30 days belong to us. So Janae, I commend you. Congratulations, sweetheart, for doing your walk this morning. Yep, I gotta celebrate the journey. And many of us, we have gotten sidetracked, and the enemy has crept in and started making us think that we can't make it to the finish line because all we see is the finish line. All we see is the finish line. But sometimes you got to learn how to chew this thing piece by piece. You got to learn how to eat at this thing little by little. You got to learn how to see each step of the way. You got to learn how to celebrate yourself. Maybe you went 7 days and you didn't do something that you used to do every day. Congratulate yourself. So what, you haven't gotten to the months and the years. You got 7 days. Pat yourself on the back, give yourself a treat and celebrate. But many of us, we're trying to walk into new, but we have not even learned how to master now. Come on here. Many of us have actually started declaring, and I'm all for declarations and affirmations. We started declaring what we're going to do in the new, but we have not mastered now yet. We have not even learned how to appreciate now yet. We have not even learned how to appreciate the contractions of the experience that you, come on, oh God, the contractions of where I am now. If I can't, oh Savior God, if I cannot appreciate the contractions of this part of the season called labor, then how can I get fully excited about that which comes after I push through the contractions and the baby comes? But we're waiting to celebrate on the other side. I am celebrating the journey. Come on here. I am celebrating the journey. So here, the first thing you got to do is you got to prepare for it. Eliminate the excuses. Here it is. The first thing I do is prepare for it. Eliminate excuses. Second thing you got to do is be determined not to give up. Accept your fear and don't let your fear control you. The third thing is you got to realize that one change or one shift does not define who you are. The fourth thing is you got to focus on your resilience and realize you can't remember how you came through. Remember that you've come through before. The fifth thing is that you got to celebrate growth no matter how big or small. Now, here's the sixth thing. You got to learn how to reflect on your own unique journey. This one right here, you got to learn how to reflect on your own few weeks. I've been watching people covet other people's journey. I've been watching people look at other people's journey and then begin to actually evaluate their own journey. I will not evaluate my journey based off of yours because number one, I don't know all the intricate parts of your journey that got you to where you are, and I don't want to assume your journey. And when you begin to covet somebody else's journey, you then want to take on the steps that they put in to get to that journey. So here it is. You need to, God, you need to reflect on your own unique journey. God has already, yes, Lord, God has already ordered our steps. And guess what? Sometimes even the steps that I thought belonged to me, God already reveals to me that there's a different set of steps. There's a different set of steps that belong to me. Where the steps that I originally thought were for me, God said, I was over here while you were walking out these steps. I was over here creating new ones for you. Come on here, Zion. And while you were walking out and you were committed and you were focused to the steps I had before you, I was literally over here creating new steps for you so that once you got to a certain point, you would see my footprints in the sand and know how to step off into, come on here, and know how to step off into your new. So when you're talking about it, I got to embrace my own journey. And sometimes my journey take twists and turns I don't even know coming. Come on here. I said sometimes my journey takes twists and turns that I don't even know coming. And we have to be okay with the fact that my journey may not look like yours. We may have started out together. Oh, my sikata bakoshia. We may have started out together. We may have started this journey together. We may have been thick as thieves in the beginning. We may have actually had the same vision. And then somewhere along the line, you started veering off this way. I started veering off that way. Or sometimes you stayed put while I kept moving. Guess what? I have to embrace my own journey. And listen here, let me drop this down for free right here in front of you. And you cannot feel guilty about how your journey has shifted. Come on here. I can't hear nobody but God. You cannot be guilty. One of the things I had to teach myself, I was guilty. I felt guilty that I couldn't even celebrate some of the things that God was doing in my life because some of the ones that I held close didn't seem to be moving at the same pace I was. And so I began to feel guilty, not even wanting to celebrate the different things God was doing, not even wanting to talk about the things that God was doing because I felt bad that it felt like I was moving like this and they were at a standstill. But I came by to encourage somebody. Oh, yes, Lord. On this day, when you embrace your unique journey, you got to be so secure in your journey that guess what? You're going to celebrate it. I'm not going to let you muzzle me because you don't understand my journey. I'm not going to allow you to shut me up because you don't appreciate my journey. I'm not going to allow you to hinder me because you don't like my journey. I'm not going to allow you to minimize me because you don't appreciate or don't think I'm worthy of my journey. I've suffered for this journey. I was ridiculed for this journey. I was betrayed for this journey. I suffered for this journey. I was abused for this journey. I was neglected for this journey. I was disappointed in my own self for this journey. I failed for this journey. You will not minimize. Come on here, God. Oh, I'm just trying to help somebody because we got people that don't want to celebrate what God is doing inside of them because they're scared of what somebody else will think. I don't care anymore. I know what God is doing in me, and I owe it to God. Somebody got to put in the comment, I owe it to God to celebrate. Ooh, somebody type in the comments, I owe it to God to celebrate. Why? Because man didn't do this, God did it. Somebody needs to put in comments, I owe it to God to celebrate. I owe it to God to celebrate. Why? Man didn't get me here. Truth be told, Shavonna didn't get herself here. Let's be truthful. I didn't get myself. I owe it to God to celebrate. I owe it to God to celebrate. Why? Because he the one that did it. God did. Who did it? God did it. Who did it? God did it. I owe it to God. I will not muzzle myself because somebody else thinks I'm bragging too much. I will not muzzle myself because someone thinks I'm talking too much. I will not muzzle myself because someone doesn't appreciate my journey or think I'm doing too much. No, listen, God did something for me and I owe God to celebrate. Yes, Janae did. I owe God to celebrate. So you have to realize, you have to reflect on your own unique journey. And on top of, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. And on top of the fact of celebrating my own unique journey, guess what? We all not going to talk alike. Come on here. We're all not going to do things alike. But that does not mean that we all ain't great. Can we dispel this? Just because I don't do it like you don't mean that God hand ain't on me. Just because I don't show up like you don't mean that God ain't using me. Just because I don't do it the way you think I should be don't mean that God ain't put his hand on me and tell me to do it. We have to understand that we all have our own unique journey, and God has put his own unique thumbprint on each and every one of us. God has strategically made each and every one of us, and my own unique journey. Listen here, we have got to stop feeling guilty for what God has done. Come on here, let me say it again. We have got to stop feeling guilty for what God has done, because just because I didn't put my business on Front Street and tell you what I was dealing with, but I tell you one thing, my blessings sure gonna be on the Front Street, because I know what I dealt with in secret. I know what my mind almost didn't make it through. So you have to get to, come on here, my unique journey birthed something out of me, and I know that I'm going to celebrate it. Okay. So when we're talking about embracing the new, I'm trying to help somebody, because I don't want you to lose your new. I don't want you to lose your new. Here's the first thing. First thing is you got to prepare for the new. Prepare for it. Eliminate your excuses. The second thing you got to do, you got to be committed to not give up. Accept your fear so your fear don't have power over you. The third thing you got to do is realize that one change does not define who you are. The fourth thing you got to do is you got to focus on your resilience. You got to remember how you came through. Every time I say that, I feel me up. The fourth thing is you got to focus on your resilience. You got to remember how you came through. The fifth thing is that you got to celebrate your growth no matter how big or small. The sixth thing is that you got to reflect on your own journey. And here's the last thing. You got to know your value and your worth. Come on here, Zion. I said you got to know your value and your worth. My God. Come on here. You got to know your value and your worth. Savior God, because many of us have allowed people to dictate our value and our worth. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Oh my God. Many of us have allowed people to dictate our value and our worth. But you got to know. Somebody got to put in there, I got to know my value and my worth. Somebody got to declare it. I know definitively. Shabana, you know your value and your worth. Nina, I know my value and my worth. Aunt Jackie, I know. Somebody got to declare it. I know. This is definitive. I know my value and my worth. I don't question it. I don't guess it. I ain't waiting for you to determine it. I ain't waiting for nobody to tell me. When I woke up this morning, I knew my value and my worth. When I went to bed last night, I knew my value and my worth. It does not matter. Somebody else may think that you ain't valuable at all. You don't determine how I feel about me. You ain't never got to agree with how I feel about me. You ain't never got to sanction how I feel about me. I know my value and my worth. So because I know, listen, I love it, Erica. I love it. If anybody need to grab what Erica got, I love it. I'm learning my value, my worth. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you about my journey. I'm on here too long. I'm gonna get off here in a minute. Let me tell you, I had to learn my value and my worth, because for seasons of my life, I allowed what people determined as my value and worth. For years, I allowed how people viewed me to determine my value and my worth. For years, I allowed the opinions of people to determine my value and my worth. I allowed how they saw me to depend on my value and my worth. And I literally had to start digging through that to actually realize, number one, where was the root of why I didn't know? So I had to go and find out the root of why I didn't know my value and my worth. Then I had to go to the root of why I was allowing them to dictate my value and my worth. And once I dispelled and pulled up all those roots, God began to reveal me to me and start letting me know just how amazing I am. No, I'm not perfect, but I'm purposeful. No, I'm flawed. I'm far from perfect. I'm flawed. I'm still working every day to be better. I'm working every day to be better. But let me help you understand something. Even on my journey to better, I know my value and my worth. Come on here. Even if I'm not at my full potential yet, even as I'm on my journey, I know my value and worth at this moment. Yes, Lord. I didn't always like me. I didn't always value me. I didn't always think that I was good enough. But guess what? When God started actually letting me see the seed of where that even came from, and I could dig up that root, and I could actually dig up the low self-esteem, because the root, come on here. I'm on here too long. The low self-esteem was tied to a root. Come on here. The low self-esteem was tied to a root. It never belonged to me in the first place. Somebody came and planted the low self-esteem in my garden. Come on. I said, somebody came and planted it. What do you mean? You know how you got weeds in there? I got a flower bed outside now. Then all of a sudden the weeds came in. Somebody planted something and weeds started growing in my yard. They didn't even belong to me. They didn't belong in my flower bed. Low self-esteem never belonged to me. Insecurity never belonged to me. But the things people said to me caused me to be insecure. The way people viewed me caused me to have low self-esteem. Now today, oh no, I don't struggle with that. Now a couple of years ago, yes, I did. I even would allow people to say things to me and I would cry. No, I don't cry about it anymore, because I know my value and my worth. Did it take some time? Yes, I've been working at this. Me and God, because God had to check me one day and said, how in the world will you look down on what I created? Come on, Jesus. I can't hear nobody but God. He said, how in the world will you look down on what I created? So what? They don't think that you all that, but I know what I created. You look at me. You look at me. Let me tell you your value and your worth. Let me tell you who you are. Let me tell you what I put inside of you. Let me tell you the oil and anointing on your life. I may never do it like anybody else, but I'll do it like God gave it to me. Come on here. I may never do it like everybody else. It may never be popular, but I'll always do it like God gave it to me. And God will always honor, because I'll do it like he gave it to me. So listen. So I'm just going to go over it. So the first thing you do, as you begin to reevaluate and reassess and realign in your now, and see where you are right now. See where you are right now. After you see where you are now, in your now, in order for you to prepare for your new, I want you to, number one, prepare for it. Eliminate the excuses. Get rid of them. The excuses got to go. Prepare for it. Eliminate the excuses. Then I want you to be committed not to give up. Declare to yourself, I will not give up. Accept your fears so your fears don't have power over you. Realize that one change or one shift does not define who you are. The fourth thing is, I want you to focus on your resilience. I want you to remember how you came through. I want you to remember how you came through. The next thing I want you to do is celebrate your growth, no matter how big or small. Celebrate you. I owe God to celebrate. I owe God to celebrate. The next thing is, I want you to reflect on your unique journey. Love the journey that God has given you. It may never look like anybody else's, but love the journey that God has given you. And lastly, I want you to know your worth and your value and your worth, however you want to say it. That's what I want you to do. Because guess what? New is upon us. The question is, how will we embrace the new? New is upon us. Come on here, Jesus. New is upon us. It's right here. We are in the first day of the 8th month. 8 being the number of new beginnings. I challenge you to reflect on what you completed in the 7th month, where you are postured on the first day of the 8th month, which is your now, and how you will now embrace your new. This is a whole month of new, 31 days. New, 31. Hey, God, new, 31 days. How will you embrace? How will you embrace? Yes, Lord. How will you embrace this new? I just gave you tips on how to embrace your new. So I just came. We had some technical difficulties in the beginning. It wouldn't let me on, but now I understand why. I needed to plant some seeds in you so that you can embrace your new good. I needed to plant some seeds in you so that you can embrace your new right. God is up to something, and we gotta embrace it. We got to embrace it. So I love each and every one of you. And I hope that you got something out of today. Please, if you have not already done so, like and share this. Somebody else may need the same tools that you have now like and share this. They may need the same tools that you need in order to embrace your new. Share it with somebody so that we all can embrace new together. We don't want to leave nobody behind. So as always, I love each and every one of you. Thank you for hanging out with me for Lunchtime Empowerment Talks with Dr. Vaughn. I am Dr. Shavonna Whitehead. It's always my privilege, my honor, and my pleasure to come and hang out with you. If you're not already subscribed, going down there to the bottom of the screen, www.shavonnawhitehead.com. Please subscribe to our website so that you can stay connected. We got upcoming empowerment cohort. We got an upcoming cohort. We got an upcoming event in November. We got some other things coming, and we want you to stay connected. Yes, we want you to stay connected to us, and so make sure you go down there and subscribe. Thank you so much, Nella. Make sure you go down there and subscribe, and also listen. For those of you who don't know, our back to school giveaway is next Saturday, August the 12th. Again, it's next Saturday, August the 12th, from 12 to 3 p.m., 1263 East North Avenue on the parking lot of Ark Church, Baltimore. Again, our back to school drive is next Saturday, August the 12th, from 12 to 3, 1263 East North Avenue, right over there on Ark Church parking lot. Listen, I'm asking you, we are still a little short on our book bags. If you don't mind sowing any seed, we currently need 65 book bags. Our goal is to service 150 young people. We are getting the supplies in, but we are not getting as many book bags for the supplies to go in. We do not want to give the children their supplies in plastic bags. We want each child that we serve to have a book bag. And right now, we are 65 book bags short of our 150 goal. If you guys would help me, any donation is a blessing. The cash app for the LLC is Dr. SLW LLC. Again, the cash app is Dr. SLW LLC. Janella, if you can put that in the comments again, Janella or Deanna. The cash app is $ Dr. SLW LLC. Any donation will be a blessing. We just want to get these last 65 book bags so that we can put all of the actual school supplies in book bags so that our kids not only have supplies, but they have a book bag to actually put the supplies in. Thank you. No, not www. It's just $ Dr. SLW LLC. The cash app is just $. Yep, there you go. And so my team is going to be there. Janella, Deanna, Shamika, all of them, they're all going to be there on next Saturday for the actual back to school drive. We're going to have a DJ there. We're going to have different vendors there. We're going to have light food. Listen, we're coming to fellowship with you, pray with you, talk with you, but most of all, give our kids their school supplies. Thank you, you guys. Give our kids the school supplies so that they can actually be what they actually need to succeed in this upcoming school year. So if you could help me, listen, ask your family, ask your friends. No donation is too small. We just want to be a blessing to get these last 65 book bags. I hope you will help me. But listen, I hope you received something today. I love each and every one of you, and I will be back here next week, Tuesday, at 1 p.m. for Lunchtime Empowerment Talks with Dr. Vaughn. Again, have an amazing day and prepare for your new. You deserve it. You deserve it. You suffer for it. Thank you, guys. You deserve it. You suffer for it. And so, thank you. And so, until next time.